Welcome to a new update, and today it's finally the meeting of the Fed. Expectations are 50 bips, which is 2 hikes. That's what we're going to expect on the markets, and the expectations are also that we're going to have a continued bear market here, while altcoins are already in a bear market for a year. And Bitcoin has been trying to break south last night and didn't do that, so we're attacking the highs again. We're going to discuss what we're expecting with the markets, but before we can actually continue doing that, make sure to subscribe beneath. Also, like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, where you can find daily content on the markets. And today it's Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day of the newsletter. 3 times a week you get the latest intel of the markets, trade setups as well, including FA analysis, and these are all posted in the newsletter, which you can find in the link beneath here in the description. There's a link. This goes towards the website where you can find the newsletter. $15 a month, doesn't cost you anything. We just kickstarted it, and we're already having some pretty decent setups in there. Now, when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, a few conclusions can be drawn. I've been discussing it over and over again. The expectations are that we're going to go down even more, that we are going to get into a bear market, which technically we're already into since September last year with Bitcoin and most of the altcoins since May last year. And we're looking at a 1-year bear market on them. I've covered the altcoins yesterday, in which I stated that if you want to get into them from an investment thesis, this is the point that you want to get into those. Now with Bitcoin, we've also been seeing a relatively boring year in which we have been going sideways between 34 to 46k for the past 4 months. And now we have been trying to test the lows again, expecting us to drop south, as that is the expectations. But we actually bounced back up. So you can have a conclusion or a discussion in itself of where's the actual pain. We have been trying the downside. And the downside, we have been taking liquidity there. And as the majority is expecting downwards momentum, it says that the actual pain could flip towards the upside rather than the downside, which means that right now we could be having a scenario that what we are going to hear tonight with the bips and quantitative tightening is already priced into the actual price of Bitcoin, dollar, and equities. Usually, when there's so much fear in the markets, it's priced in excessively. So it's overpriced, which means that the market is overshooting on the reaction itself. If you ask me the expectation for tonight, I think we're going to have some heavy volatility. We're probably going to have a fake out either way, and that fake out will result into people getting trapped, and then we go the other way around. It's usually what happens. So the initial reaction that we're getting into the markets is not what we should be expecting to be taking place at all. So the initial reaction is usually the trap, and you should not be getting trapped. But the bigger picture is that we have been expecting this downwards move already, or we're expecting a bear market to take place. But rate hikes are not bearish at all. It's the environment that we're living in. And given the fact that most of the people currently already expecting a crisis to take place, I think that the downside is relatively limited in terms of pain. So my odds are that we're going to have an upwards breakout with Bitcoin. And the chances are going to increase based from PA as well. Let's have a look at the PA and just see what the price action is giving us right now and what we could be expecting. So what we could be expecting with the markets is the following. First of all, if we're looking at the price action, we have been seeing impulse moves. What do I mean by impulse moves is that we've had this breakout upwards, in which we have been making a momentum testing 48k, another impulse move south, in which we retested the breakout level, we retested the breakdown level, and then we started having very harsh drops. And those harsh drops have resulted into impulse moves. These drops here, this is a very harsh one, there's another one, have been decreasing over time. Still we got one here, still we have been making new lower lows here too. But the sell pressure have been dropping down, which means that sellers are getting exhausted, and every time we switch or we test the low, we don't break south as there are more buy or there's more buyers power than sell power. Then also we've got the sentiment in itself, in which the expectations are that we're going to get south, or that we start to trend south even more. Now, lately, a few altcoins have been making the exact same price structure. They have been making a double bottom, or they have been making the downwards test, in which they bounced up, created a little higher high, consolidated, flipped the previous support level for support, and then we started to trend upwards again. So in this case, I've been marking the crucial block and breaker, and you know that overall I was assuming, or I've been discussing the potential bearish trends or the bearish scenarios that we could be having, but I've also been stating that if you look at the altcoins overall, technically speaking, you want to invest in them at this stage, and we get into waters where you actually want to show that interest in longing rather than shorting at this point, which is the same with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been acting relatively strong when it gets towards the dollar strength and the fact that it's not dropping down that harshly. So when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin right now, the level that you want to be looking at for a flip is the area around 38.2, which is the breaker that we have here. So we have been bouncing around it. We have been creating this 37.5 level, which is this wick. We have been testing those levels, fallen beneath, another test of the low, and now we break back again. So what you want to see is that we consolidate here and continue to hold, creating ourselves a higher low, right? If that is going to happen, the chances are that we're going to test 40.5k, but overall, if we start to zoom out a little bit more, I think the chances are that the test towards 42k is next, especially as then we're going to crack this high. The Fed meeting fear is over, so acceleration towards the upwards momentum is going to increase based on the fact that the actual event took place, and the fear is slowly diminishing away, which is always the case with such, or with those type of events, and then we start to attack 42k. Crucial breaker is the fact that we have to hold above 38.2. If we're going to test 37 again, I'm assuming we're going to drop down towards 35 or maybe even 34, but that is what I'm looking at with the markets at this stage, and that's what I want to look at in potential terms of trading here too. So I want to get into a trade for Bitcoin at this stage, which we are all sharing in our portfolio or in our platform. I'm sharing all the trades, including where I placed the orders, and since the 1st of May, we've also been starting to lock all the ROI that we're making here. We've got a 10k portfolio, and we're going to trade with it and targeting a decent amount of profit every month. So you can share or you can follow it in our platform, which is $99 a month. If we're looking at the dollar, we can clearly say that we're distributing here. It looks overextended. Scenario is still the same. We have got those highs here. We have got to sweep those highs, and then we can start reversing towards 100 points. Overall, it's going to decide tonight how heavy we're going to move here too. But I think that if we drop beneath 103.2 and potentially 103 in itself, this one is going to reverse and might even drop down even more, resulting into strength on the equity markets. And when we're looking at the Dutch stock markets, it's doing pretty okay. We have been testing a crucial level here. If I would look at this in a technical way, this is the area that we should be looking at for support. Pretty relatively stable consolidation here too. If we're going to break out, the trend is just going to continue moving. It's just a very normal consolidation taking place. Ethereum, pretty much the same view. I was assuming that we were going to get a retest at 26, but overall, if we're looking at the lower time frames, it's looking the exact same as Bitcoin is doing here. Breaker held the level for 2750, higher low. Now we're continuing the momentum. Might look at the long around 2800, and then we're going to sweep towards 2920 and 2970. So at this stage, I think that Bitcoin is going to break out. Definitely tonight we can have some very ugly moves in which we retest 38.2. Overall, I think the next move is towards 42k, and that the fear is going to diminish away. If you want to know everything about the event tonight, tune in at 8 p.m. 10 Central European time. We're going to live stream there. I'm there at 10 after 8 p.m. because it's Remembrance Day in the Netherlands. So that's why I have to be a little bit later. But we're going to live stream the Fed meeting. The live streams will be coming back quite soon, even more, as this YouTube channel will grow quite heavily. Subscribe beneath, like this YouTube video. Also, don't do stupid shit. Take care of that tonight. Don't use high leverage. Always keep smiling. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tonight.